Hello, and welcome to a scene from Days of Our Lives. No, Rage Across New York and the Mage venue. Today, Alicia is doing her usual gardening rounds at the verbena chantry, and Jericho has come looking for her because he seems to have reached at least something of a decision regarding things.
Uh, Jericho for his part is something gonna go ahead and find himself, uh, try to find himself on the porch of this particular chantry. This very, very early morning light is starting to stream on through into his eyes, blinding him quite a bit. Tis the spring. Tis the month of new beginnings. He goes ahead and yells out into the very, very cold and crisp morning. Hey, Alicia, come over here. Need to talk to
Um,
you for a second.
yeah, okay. And she will put her trowel down and dust the mud off her knees and wander over.
Sit, sit. Jericho's gonna go ahead and start to just plant his ass in one of those swing sets, actually. White painted wood, white painted chains, and he's just gonna go ahead and sit there, rest his leg, and sort of ever so slightly just go ahead and rock it.
And Alicia's going to sit down next to him and bring up her legs slightly and just kind of let it rock.
So I talked to a few people over the week after we last spoke.
Okay. How did it go?
Rock, 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 creak, creak, creak. Asked him a little bit about what it would be like to be kin. What would it be like to be a part of the family? Creak, creak, creak.
Yeah,
They gave me
I've been
some.
learning a bit about that as well.
They gave me a lot of different perspectives on the whole nonsense. Well, nonsense seeming, anyways. Some had very, very traditional views, which hailed from the old country, I can only assume. Crick, crick, crick. Some of them really, really told me about the kind of devotion that you can start to build up with that kind of life. And I could sort of understand it. Crick, crick, crick. It's the idea that you're sort of thrust into a life, and now you're surrounded by all these new ideas and these new people and things that you really care about. Crick, crick, crick. And I can understand that. I can also understand that, for such time, that woman really had no ideas, or at least did have an idea about love, but she was mature enough to see past it. Crick, crick, crick. See the kinds of blessings that she had with her new life, and then I respect that. Crick, crick, crick. And then I talked to somebody superior, because I had a great many, many, many concerns about what would happen to me, about the kind of lifestyle changes I would have to take. Crick, crick, crick. Oh, you can bet the traditionalist was there. You can bet the traditionalist told me that should be walking into this with both eyes open. Crick, crick, crick. But Blitz went ahead and answered many of my questions, many of my concerns. Pretty much put the onus on me more than anybody else. Crick, crick, crick. 'Cause all in all, nothing really changes all that much. Well, nothing about what I do or how I live. Crick, crick, crick. It's more of what happens afterwards, the kind of planning that comes afterwards. Hell, I was afraid that I would have to, I don't know, leave my life, leave my career, leave my property, but no, no, it doesn't seem like that at all. Crick, crick, crick. I'd be welcomed into a new family. And I get to go ahead and see about these new values that I would be walking into, just like the one that was very, very devoted. Crick, crick, crick. Although I'm still afraid of the traditionalists and the traditionalist view. I may be more able than my peers would be if I walked into this arrangement, but still, it's always going to be in the back of my mind. Crick, crick, crick. All the assurances that I would not be second class. Crick, crick, crick. And the observation that I'm already an outsider. Crick, crick, crick. And then Blitz pretty much dared me. He did. Fucking challenged me right there. He said that I would run away. He said that I didn't have what it took. Crick, crick, crick. I don't know if he was just trying to scare me off or intimidate me away. Maybe he has a good sense of character. Crick, crick, crick. But I went ahead and thought again. If I do consign myself to this sort of treatment, if I do walk in to become kin, nothing may change for me. But I'm very, very sure that the people who come after me, the people that get from me, their destiny is a little bit changed. Their life is a little bit changed. But you know what? Honestly, Alicia, without you, I can't imagine a world where I do have Git, where there is a bloodline that flows out of me. Without you, I don't see that. So, I guess that destiny has already been decided. I may walk away, start a new life somewhere else, but that new life, without you, would not be the same. It would be a poor, poor reflection of what I have here with you. And when I look to the future, that poor reflection gets dimmer and dimmer. Because the future that's projected to me with you as I walk into this sort of treatment, it's so much more brilliant, so much more vibrant. And I guess what I want to say in a more roundabout way, is for you, Alicia. For you, Alicia, absolutely necessary. If I do need to beget children, extend my bloodline, I will do it with you according to your people's traditions.
You don't have to. I mean, I'm expected to, but I'm expected to do a lot of things.
Can you see your future without me? Can you see it clear in your head?
She'll nod.
Is it better?
Considering I can see several different options for how the future will go with you, some of them do go fairly badly. I mean, there is a whole war involved.
The war will continue. The war will rage on. From what I hear, the war is, well, in some people's eyes, lost. So don't even consider that. Push that out of your mind. Only look to me, and he's going to go ahead and scoot himself over so he's looking right at Alicia. Just look at me. Tell me, honestly, do you see a future? Do you see any kind of future that is better than the one that you would have with me?
I don't think so.
Then this decision has already been made for you. I have, well, I should say that I've been taught that the world will spin on. I have been taught that we all have a fate that's greater than us. We all have a fate that's greater than us. And as soon as we can start to let go of those things that we cannot control and grab on, he's actually looking at you. Actually go ahead and go over to embrace you, wrap you around his arms. As soon as we can grab on to those things that we can control, we hold them. We hold them for dear life.
She's going to hug him right back.
The whole world is going to spin out of control. And we don't get to decide where we go. But as long as I'm still vertical and ventilating, I want to be here with you. This is what I can control. I can't control the world. I can't control what's going on out there, but I can control what's going on right now between you and me.
And strangely enough, she's going to respond to that by basically kissing Jericho. That is does seem to be the only response at that point.
Mm-hmm. Is that good enough for you?
She's going to nod. And huggle just that little bit closer on the swing.
It's sort of like in that mystery play that we were just involved in. Do you know why I put my entire being into that persona, even though it wasn't real? I did it just for the reasons I laid out. I couldn't control what was happening around me. I can only control myself. There was a script to be ran. I ran with it. I don't think I followed it entirely, because the
No, I
portrait
didn't.
changed. No. The portrait changed because of our actions, because of what we could control. We couldn't control the entire theater of war, but on that island, on that road, we took a tank. And I'm sure there's no entry of that in any sort of historical textbook whatsoever.
Which is probably for the best, considering they'd have to. Well, I mean, obviously, magical tank would be a bit weird, but also great big claw marks on the roof.
History is very, very malleable. You'll learn that. It covers up things. The things that people don't want to see anymore. Like claw marks.
Yeah.
Okay. And here, I thought I'd be converted by some Jewish girl.
Hey, did you want to be Jewish?
No, it's just the nose. It really gets me. I'm one to look for beauty in different places.
Speaking of which, I really need to try and introduce Andrew to some other people.
Who's that then?
The mountain lion guy.
The mountain lion guy, right?
He seems to be a little um interested, and I kind of need to find someone for that.
Um, V's a lovesick puppy, excuse me, cat. That might be his own problem.
I mean, there's other Garu around that can go running in four-legged form.
What, does he have an interest in the Garu specifically?
Well, I don't know really. He just, well, he said it's because I see him as a person and not just as like a really kind of attractive guy. I don't know. I see him as a person and talk about things.
So what kind of people has he been hanging around with?
Um, Mostly people that want him for his body, I think.
That's why they have the internet.
Yeah.
On the internet, nobody knows that you're a dog.
Well, mountain lion.
Oh, doesn't.
But yeah, so I think it's mostly just that I treat him as a person and can turn into a wolf. So I need to try and find someone that can do that too.
At least treats him like a person. I believe the shape-shifting quality is going to be a lost on a lot part of the population.
Quite possibly. I mean, it maybe just can run really fast. I don't know.
Well, if you want somebody that runs really fast and his orientation's a little bit wonky, you can always try to get it with Aaron.
Not sure um Aaron's wife
Shh.
would appreciate that.
She doesn't need to know that she's being a hag. Shh.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with a no on that one.
Drat. In any case, how is this place holding up since I left it?
It seems to be mostly doing okay. It's a bit hard to tell. We wrapped the time portal in brown paper.
Okay.
Well, that way I know if anything kind of tries coming out of it. I mean, I know I was told that it doesn't work that way. You can only kind of go back there, but just in case, it's now kind of wrapped in paper, and then obviously the paper will get broken if someone goes through.
Okay. Have you also tried empty beer cans, actually? They make a really, really good alarm system for the cheapo.
This is true. That might work, but you know, I just kind of wanted to make sure that we'd know. Not well, I mean, it'd be good to know anyway. We could add some empty cans.
It's whatever you and the other people residing here decide.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it shouldn't be a problem, but I'd rather just kind of know that nothing's come out of it.
Okay, it's been a while since I've actually walked into the barn. I don't think I'm going to go ahead and take a second trip quite yet. Um, how's Tom and O'Hare doing?
They seem to be doing okay. Tom is going to basically be holed up studying for his bar exam for a while.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Um, we should probably see about introducing you to my dad at some point.
We can definitely do that. How about this? If you give me his contact information, I can go ahead and you can go ahead and make introductions, and I can see about your father, as he is just a man.
Okay. Um, yeah, in future, could you just kind of say that rather than me being stuck for an hour in a queue?
Mm, what about O'Hare? You didn't mention him.
Oh, he seems to be okay. He's wandering around and helping me plant brambles, and as far as I know, he's fine.
Hmm. What about the rest of your people? How are they getting on?
Well, um, Donald and Keegan are fine. We're all kind of working on improving things here. Um, and okay, there's it seems like there's never not issues with my people, but um, most of them seem to be relatively dealable at the moment, probably. I'm still not the most popular person.
Fair dues. Anybody I should really look out for, or is it mostly just whispers?
Mostly just seems to be whispers. I mean, honestly, it would be so much. Okay, not necessarily better, but it could just kind of say stuff to my face for a start. It's kind of like being back in high school sometimes.
Ah, people will whisper, people will talk. It is the nature of things.
Very true. We still need to go and hunt those evil mages, though.
Hmm. Well, it is definitely should be a priority. Uh, for one reason or number, are different methods for locating that particular individual are coming up not meh. At some point or another, we'll have enough gumption to go ahead and look over at Cleveland High School.
I think that's a good starting place, at least.
Hmm. And of course, apparently, there's this giant ass summoning circle in Staten Island, and from what I can say about that, mm,
Does seem worrying, though.
is it really my problem?
Might be everyone's problem.
Might be everyone's problem, but is it specifically my problem?
I don't think so.
I've learned, I have learned, totally learned, that in New York, you have to decide what is really your problem and stay away from everything else.
Well, something tells me that summoning circle will probably be our problem.
Oh, if the summoning circle does essentially pop up, fair dues. demons will start to roll over the earth. And that will be a very, very dangerous situation to find yourself in. But you must remember, why take the risk yourself to dismantle the circle? Why? No reason. Hell, I've got many contingency plans should hell start boiling over.
Well, what about everybody else?
Screw everyone else.
That's kind of where we're very different.
Look, the people I care about, I talk with every other day. The kind of people that I really care about are currently sitting next to me on this porch, are currently back in the Amahara. There are a few other names and faces around New York that I would give a rat's ass to. But generally, general population could not care. They don't matter to me. I have a list of names and faces that I truly care for. Everybody else can go suck a nut.
Right. She's actually going to be looking rather concerned at this point. Um, you know that generally protecting the planet and the people on it is fairly important to me and to my people, right? Planet first, then people, but still.
Well, it's if it's a cause that you care for, then I can lend my support to such a cause. I would not be overly taxed or overly burdened to do a few favors for you, or for anybody else you say that I needs help. Here's the thing, Alicia, this is how it's gonna work. You're gonna put me at problems. You're gonna point me at people, and I will do my utmost to make sure that problem finds a solution or that person is generally protected. But without you, I don't really give a rat's ass. Too many things in this world, too many problems, too many headaches. I'm sorry. I have to be discriminating about what's really a cause I need to fight for.
Okay. And she's looking rather thoughtful about this. Well, um, I guess that's one way to settle things.
Remember Christmas?
Yes.
Remember that it was just the few of us that really cared, were really willing to throw in
Yeah.
to that situation? Yeah, yeah. Those are the kind of things I'll throw in on. I'm not heartless. I just have to be discriminating. I can't put out every single fire that I see. And believe me, I see many, many fires. The entirety of New York is, as Sam puts it, Swiss cheese as far as the temporal and the spatial anomalies is concerned. In fact, I walked into the city and fell into one of those holes. I see many things. I see many problems in the city. I have to pick and choose which ones to tackle.
That's fair enough. I mean, you always only have so much energy, but I don't know. I guess I just want to be able to help with everything and then have to choose which of those things are.
Use us, folks. Technical difficulties.
Right. As I was saying, I guess I just want to be able to help with all of those things and then have to choose which ones are the most important to help with. Not that the others don't matter, but that other things matter more. But that's me, I guess.
And I'm most concerned, like I said, names and faces that I recognize and I talk to. I'm more about setting up a safe place. A place that basically a bunker for the end of the world.
I'm hoping it doesn't kind of get that bad, and I'm focusing quite a lot of energy on it not getting that bad. And I kind of think I'm sort of doing the same thing.
I have a bolt hole. I have the people that I really care about. If the whole world were to end tomorrow, and I can only protect those few people, I'd do it in a heartbeat.
See, if I could only protect those people, then that would be who I protected. But if if I could stop the world ending, I'd do that, you know?
Things outside of you or I's control. Everybody has a
Sometimes.
destiny. Everybody has a geisha. I can't control what happens over the entire damn city. I can't control what happens over the goddamn world. All I can control is what's in front of me right now.
And sometimes that can make the difference.
I'm not saying that we won't go ahead and hunt down the usurpers, the inverted ones, the fallen. I'm not saying we're not going to hunt down those that have fallen off their path. We'll do that. It's just, I'm not going to be the one person out there risking my ass for nothing. If anything, I'm going to bring people I trust with me to handle the situation.
Of course, but if there was nobody, I'd still be there. I mean, of course, if you can bring people along and make sure that everybody that the job gets done easier and everybody gets out of their lives, then that's great. I don't know. I guess it's just different ways of viewing the world.
Hmm. I'm, I'm a survivalist. I've survived worse things. I plan to survive worse things in the future.
I guess I'm more of a I don't know, um, nurturer, changer, something.
You're a shapeshifter, not just your own shape. You want to change the entire world.
One little bit at a time. I mean, I'm often being told that I'm too nice or too or I try and help people too much. But if I stop that, how does that make the world better? If more people did it, the whole world would get better. But I can't control what they do. I can only control what I do. So I have to try and be the person that I want well, not everyone to try and be like exactly, but
You ask too much of your fellow men.
if I stop asking, nothing will change.
You ask too much of your fellow men. You have the gift. Nobody will doubt it. You want to bring people together. It's all well and good. That might be the most challenging position to be in. To be the one that wants to bring all these other tribes of men together in order to fight a common threat. And it often doesn't boil down like that. Often it's a few people rallying people together and a few sacrifices that are made. Unnecessary sacrifices, but they're still made.
But are they unnecessary?
Should all the tribes of men go ahead and rally together in order to reverse the climate? Yeah,
Yes.
they'd be able to do it. They'd be able to do it. They'd find the technology and they would be able to do it. But all the tribes of men aren't trying to better the climate. It's every single tribe out for its own good. Because I guarantee you, if the tribes of men went ahead and focused their willpower and their efforts, they could revert all the damage that they had done to the ozone, to the atmosphere. They could prevent an ice age from coming on. But the problem is, every single tribe of men would have to do this together. Because once they start that green effort, their productivity loses. That tribe of man suffers. And if that tribe of man suffers, while all the other tribes of men continue to enjoy their benefits and continue to go ahead and make the climate worse, well, then that one tribe of men that is suffering for nothing and will find itself quickly extinguished. It's all about who is actually committed to it and who is willing to suffer to make sure the planet works right again. If a great many number don't, then a great many number will go ahead and reap the benefits. In fact, it only takes one tribe of man. It only takes one tribe of man holding out to their traditional ideals, and they would rule the entirety of the other nations, simply by virtue, simply by intent that they would not be suffering to change the environment. So that is what
That's
you're faced with. You're faced with greed, you're faced with short-sightedness, you are faced with all manners of evil in a man's heart.
so be it. You, like you said, if if one tribe of man is doing it, then they end up suffering. But if none of them do it, none of the others will either. And I don't agree that the one by themselves would rule the world.
It would. It would. Every single other nation on the planet would be devoting the entirety of their GOP, their gross national product, just to reversing the damage that had been done. However, that one nation that stands on its own, that hoards its wealth, easily, easily overwhelm the entirety.
Only if it's allowed to. No, nobody, no nation has everything that they need.
Not everything that they need, no, but the most of what it
And
takes to
and
grab everything else.
no matter how much money they have, if the other nations are all truly dedicated, then what would they buy from them? They're not going to sell their land. They're not going to sell their materials. They're not going to. They're going to be busy working to improve the environment. And if you go on the weapons thing, bear in mind that dedicating yourself to helping the environment does not mean that you cannot fight for it as well.
I can guarantee you that dedicating yourself to protect the environment means that you go ahead and have great deficits in every other part of your nation. Like I said, it only takes one of the big ones actually. America, just to name one. Hell, you have no idea how much we spend on defense.
No,
We
I
spend
do,
a lot on defense.
I
Why?
do,
Because we're big and bad.
but but if every other nation was determined together, that would
That
be all of them.
that would take a miracle.
Oh, of course, but that's what you were just saying, that it only takes one, but it doesn't.
That is the mindset that everybody has when they come to the table. If I'm the one that holds out, then I am the one that reaps all the benefits.
And if you submit to that mindset, if you agree that you're going to go down that route, that you're going to focus on your own benefits, then it's going to be true forever.
Everybody is incentivized to be greedy. Everybody that comes to that table is incentivized to be a greedy son of a bitch. It's ingrained in their psyche. We've talked a lot about that, and maybe geopolitical politics is not something that we should be talking about on such a wonderful day.
Maybe, but does seem to relate very closely to more kind of social issues.
Creak, creak, creak goes the swinging bench. I'm sorry to be so morbid. I'm
No,
sorry to be
no,
pessimistic.
it's okay. It's the same argument I've had goodness knows how many times. Admittedly, not so much geopolitical, but it's the same argument that in order to deal with people being selfish, you should be selfish too.
Hmm. Maybe have a little backing of power. Just a big chunk of it. Not all of it, just a big enough chunk to go ahead and swing at the first person that says, no, I will abstain. When a single individual has enough power to backhand somebody on a whim and not have any of their slaps directed towards them, that is a powerful position. And that is a position that can actually cause a little bit of change. It takes a bit of power before you can enact change.
Perhaps, but that's not about wanting things for yourself. I mean, yes, it involves having things and that involves wanting to have the things, but it's a case of whether you want to have them for you or whether you want to have them because you need them.
Yes, I'm sure that every senator and every representative needs their six-figure salaries coming from lobbyists, I'm very sure. And I know that's not what you meant, but let me get the point across as clear as possible. To enact real change anywhere, you need power, any kind of power. And maybe along the way, by sheer happenstance, by a sheer miracle, you get that power without having to be selfish. And I'm not saying that this doesn't happen. I'm not saying that there is not a way to grab power while not being a tyrant, while genuinely being sincere about your position. I'm not saying that there is a path to power that isn't truly virtuous for the entirety of the people that you represent or the entirety of the people that you would come against. I'm not saying that there isn't a path like that. I'm saying that you need to find a path like that. If you find a path to power, you don't have to compromise yourself. Do it. Afterwards, start enacting change.
I think I already am. It's just a case of how big you're aiming. And little things add up. I mean, Alex gave me the chantry, and I didn't do anything to hurt anyone for that. I mean, I found the place by coming to help. I moved in to help. I was given the place because I moved in. I don't really understand it, and I kind of need to talk to him, but she shrugs. And we convinced Unicorn to help us, and the trees to help us, and yes, there's a lot out there, but there's a difference between being selfish and being protective. I mean, they're both possessive, but there is a huge difference in the reasoning behind them. But, you know, we should go make some breakfast.
You know what? That sounds like a wonderful idea.
And as they both head into the chantry to make pancakes, we're going to end the scene because Austin is out of time. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Austin, for playing. And this has been your Daily Soap.